ready. We need to go, go, go. We're on timer here, baby. We got honestly, though, I love that the analyst sense was entering this with so much time on top lane, because this matchup is the single matchup of any two players in this entire group that I was most looking forward to coming into Worlds. Ale, kill leader of top laners coming from LPL versus the LCS domination coming from Alphari. These two pitted against each other. It's gotta be sparks. It's gotta be fire in the top side, and it's gotta be carries, okay?
And the big thing too, LNG have red side. They get the luxury of last pick. They get the luxury of that counter pick. How can Alphari weather that storm? Or they're going to be priority top laners left open where he feels comfortable instantly snagging a blind pick. Something like the Camille like we saw yesterday. Definitely something to keep track of. But of course, no surprise, Aurelia, Lucian, Lee Sin, these champions being banned away, as has been the trend for most of the tournament.
All right, Yuumi falls shortly. Definitely on board with that one. It's been attempted, and it's been discussed so frequently about, oh yeah, so you need to push early, bounce the wave back, threaten your all-ins, get kills on her, knock her off. You know, there are some other things that have not come up that I remember from previous, Yuumi-dominated metas. Mordekaiser. I love Mordekaiser as a counter to this champion because you ult the person that has her, she pops off, and then the rest of the team immediately, you don't see it on screen, but Daniel here is actually throwing punches. He's like, oh, Yumi's popped off, boom, 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 yeah, beat her up, yeah. And then you hit her with a CC.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because Yumi's already banned, but what I will say is, Mordekaiser top, Poppy support. You pop the Yuumi off, you put the Poppy right on top of the popped off Yuumi, you push W, and where's she gonna go, Kobe?
You just want to say pop a bunch while you're casting. Classic play-by-play caster. The counter is the thing that will make me sound the coolest. Twisted Fate coming in here, though, for Jensen, for Team Liquid. They actually, throughout the season, utilized globals very effectively. It wasn't the hallmark of this team, but it was one of the strategies that they successfully utilized during the regular season and then kind of filed away for later. So while it wasn't at the forefront of some of Jensen's big picks, I do like that option there. They don't end up locking it in, and so it's kind of irrelevant now, but is something that they kind of tucked away for later. This team, for my perspective, is a lot more flexible than most people give credit to Team Liquid for being. Corejj, yes, he does have an overarching view of the game and controls a lot of it and likes to be risk averse, but there are definitely a lot of different options that they like to go for with where they put their resources and their roams.
And Leona doesn't really commit you to anything. It's got a lot of kill pressure, can do a lot of work in the bottom lane, can also roam and put that kill pressure in someone else's hands. Jensen opting for the TF here up against the LeBlanc. You do have reliable point and click CC, very crucial. There you go.
And more importantly, point saved. The Twisted Fate comes in. I get half foresight here, where we get to predict things as well. Yeah. It's a side effect.
You're doing good.
But it's also a good pick into LeBlanc. So as soon as they see the LeBlanc, then it actually just makes more sense. So they don't blind pick the Twisted Fate. They wait for Icon locking in the LeBlanc. Then you can pick it into the LeBlanc. Gold card shutdown. It's been discussed ad nauseum throughout the length of this tournament, but also being able to affect those sidelines. Taco had an amazing Ezreal game. Previously in their victory already. It's always been one of his comfort champions. Plus, as discussed last time around when had this set up for them, allows Corejj to roam on Leona. You can go for kills, you can go for setup there with Twisted Fate down to the bottom side. Guess what? That doesn't mean that you're just spending all your resources down there. It unlocks Corejj to pay it forward. He can then pay those ganks forward, unlock the top side of the map, and actually go to Alphari. So lots of opportunities for Corejj to get unlocked in this game, and that's going to be big for them. Meanwhile, for LNG, though, that Aphelios thresh on the bottom side, very big for Light and Iwandy, of course, and should be some early pushing from them. We'll keep track of if either of them has to leash, but I would say neither of them will want to at all in order to gain that priority, and is going to focus now on the junglers. Olaf taken away is not just a blabber pick for NA. Santorin also racking up quite a few of those wins. Lee Sin is already off the board, so you get down to your Trundles and your Xin Zhao's coming up quickly here too.
Certainly do. For now, the Jace also going to be banned away. I guess trying to adjust, trying to pivot, trying to limit maybe some of the blind picks. If the pool is open and there's only 1 or 2 champions left available that they really want to play, could always 4-pick top lane on red side, but I do still expect to see it be the 5th pick.
Yeah.
Are they going to ban away another jungler here, further limiting Santorin's effective champion pool? I wouldn't be surprised to see a Xin. Ooh, Kennen. I like it.
Okay, taking away Kennen here. The Jace was already banned, so Jace is one of the biggest picks that people like to pick into Kennen for the counter there. So when Team Liquid banned Jace, that's what pulls up the Kennen pick. Maybe previously they were throwing around some more possible junglers, but if Jace is banned out as your answer to it, then taking that one away, because as you postulated, pretty sure that it's going to be 4th round pick here for jungle for LNG first, and they wait to see the full reveal of all cards in your hand from Team Liquid and finally try and counter the top side pick. So, you know, plenty of junglers still available here. You like to have a dash when you're playing into a team that has Leona and Twisted Fate already, because there's going to be a lot of map movement. Yes, you do have a Thresh already on your team, but Lantern can only save you so many times, and nice to have some mobility for yourself there too. So Viego has been proven still viable even after the nerfs, and does have a decent amount of mobility there too, though Twisted Fate's ultimate will reveal him.
And I certainly love Viego when you have a champion like LeBlanc to pair with it, a lot of upfront burst to potentially get those resets off the passive. That said, we'll see what the focus is going to be. Really curious about both jungle and top lane in this case, the last 2 picks remaining for TL. We are going to see the Talon locked in. What is going to be Alphari's blind pick? He picks the Camille. He is setting up for the Ale Jax. We saw versus Hanwha Life Esports in plans. Ale, if he gets enough time to scale on that Jax, will guaranteedly take over a game. But we also saw yesterday that Alphari and TL may not give him enough time. Instead, today it is going to be the Gnar, however. Definitely a bit of a high-stakes champion to get later against some of these highly mobile top laners, but it could be the Viego top.
This is shaping up to be a little difficult looking for Team Liquid, for my money, actually. So I think it's a good manipulation here of LNG on the red side to be able to force through with this. They get Ale, his Fiora, into the Gnar pick. It's looking fairly difficult. It is definitely sustainable for Team Liquid, especially if Jensen's able to actually control mid. Maybe an early pass just from, you know, a damaged pass through gank from Santorin. You know, maybe gold card into Talon combination can get them some breathing room mid and open up Jensen to use his Twisted Fate ultimate to keep Ale in check, or try and get Tactical fed, because they are definitely going to need that. Tactical will have to do some good carrying in this game. He's going to have to put on his high DPS pants with this Ezreal, like that he did the Trinity Force Ezreal last time around. Don't do Divine Thunder this time. You're going to need to have some good power for these team fights, because LNG are certainly going to be bringing plenty of damage. They have 1-3-1 split push options and outs for later into the game, so plenty of flexibility here for LNG. Whereas Team Liquid's a little bit more straightforward, a little bit more concentrated, and going to rely you know, on definitely controlling these early games. Don't let some of these assassins get out of control. Don't let some of those solo lanes really take over the game.
Absolutely. And now we get to find out, will TL lead the group heading into day 3? 2-0 would be the score if they can find this winner. Will LNG tie things up at 1-1. Definitely high stakes here. Very, very powerful, very, very snowbally champions on both sides. But the TF, more utility. Corejj, again, more utility. It's a defensive bot lane for LNG, but an explosive top side. Fiora finds a kill. LeBlanc finds a kill. This game can very quickly get out of hand, but if they can weather the storm, TF, nice and simple. Point and click CC. You got a Talon, you got an Ezreal. Easy to line those kills up. You just got to make it through.
You wanted pop-offs, Dracos. LNG have drafted quite a few pop-off champions for themselves. See about the level 1, because level 1 vision will be so critical here. Trying to track to enable your lane matchups to actually play aggressively, though. And Team Liquid 5% strong up into the top side.
Ooh, spotted out. Excellent, excellent ward coming from Tarzan.
Oh, they don't get the last auto. All right, it's lost, GG. No ward kill, no experience, no gold.
Oh, man, come on. Don't let your faith be that fragile.
Well, also look at how much it costs, because not only do you not get a ward kill up there, but you also reveal all 5 members. This means there's no defense for any deep vision. Every single area of the jungle start is warded out here. They will see the start for Santorin very clearly, bottom side. They know he's not going down to the Ezreal lane super early on, so It should probably be, in this case, a pretty standard clear for Santorin. Just do red into Krugs, into Raptors, up towards top side. Talon, one of the big buffs for him to push him into jungle was, of course, much more damage on the Rake. AoE, which is very good for your red quadrant clear.
No. Passive as well, I believe, doing bonus damage to monsters. So a lot of things that have brought him into the jungle, but he's been spotted out. And on top of being spotted out, he's also getting a leash.
We discussed this earlier. Ezreal lanes having to leash. It turns into crybaby Ezreals in my experience. Where's my tier? Help, I'm getting pushed in. Where's my Sheen? I want my Sheen buy. This is going to be a lot more difficult for Corejj and Tactical because it gives over full push to Light and Iwandy, and you see them taking advantage. They chunk out. It also forces the Ezreal to use Mystic Shots on the wave. Whereas, you know, if you're in lane and you can try an auto, maybe they just said, you know what? We're not going to be able to push versus the Aphelios anyway. That's probably it.
I think the thing is, too, you're against a Thresh who has the range advantage in this lane, opted for the Guardian. He is going to play the more ranged defensive option in this case. And the downside is you're missing out on level 1 when Aphelios doesn't have any abilities. It is certainly going to get a little bit harder at level 2, but Tactical will also be safer.
Ezreal's level 1 is actually sick. Because
I agree.
If the guns were random, then yeah, you would have a random chance of hard losing lane. But they made it so that his guns are literally the best for lane phase. That you always start out with the best laning guns. You always get green for poking and red for sustaining back up off the wave. So
it's true. But imagine he walks into lane level 1 with purple gun and you're slightly overextended and he just 30% slows you down.
I'm happy for it because as long as he doesn't
I was trying to make an argument, but I think you're right. I think it is just probably there's nothing.
I mean, those are the best ones for Sorry. So they did that intentionally though, part of the kit. Here we go though, far as the invade onto low health Santorin.
Tarzan not gonna connect the stun. End of the day, Santorin still getting the camp. That's pretty big. Tarzan burning a lot of time to do so.
Top lane pushing for TL too.
Very big. Santorin can leap in here, but of course, Aphelios a lot of built-in sustain in the kit. Might be a tight 1v1.
Crab walking towards mid is as LNG favored because top is pushing for TL, but mid is pushing for LNG for Icon with the LeBlanc harassing. So Crab walking right over into the winning lane there for LNG. Crab secured for LNG for Tarzan.
People worry too much about caster bias. You got to worry about Crab bias.
Nah, that's tricky Crab. Santorin though. Follow-up chase. So, wonder if he's actually going to go deep for the Krug steal instead of actually crossing for Scuttle Crab. Looks to be the case because your bottom lane's getting pushed in and your mid lane's getting pushed in. So you've got no other options there.
I like the wraparound here. Of course, you got the riposte for Ale. So there's a little bit of mobility on the Q there, but Alphari very close to Mega. Can just focus on the Krugs for now and still have the option to go for the gank until he reveals himself. It doesn't feel like he's given up too much. Can retreat and secure his own Krugs as well.
Well, remember one of the big goals for the Talon in this scenario for this setup is to control these LNG solo laners early on in the game.
Yeah.
That's not exactly control. Is going to reveal your position plus take your tower shot, but he's already taken away most of the Krugs, so probably won't cost too much.
No, and can just Assassin's Path right back out.
Pick up that rock. There's a quarter on the ground. Go get it. That's what it is. Okay, you don't have quarters here. You have 10 euro coin. What is it? What's a cent? It's just
coin.
a cent coin. Okay, you just call it cent
coin.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe there's a fancy name for it.
The Euro dime.
Yeah, it's not Canada. It's not like loonies and toonies or whatever. I can't remember what that one is.
Loonies.
I can't remember what country that is. All right. Jensen goes in, gets a gold card, gets some cheeky push back.
There's no way there's a country that uses loonies and toonies as currency.
Someone back me up.
There's no damn way there's a country using loonies and toonies.
Oh.
Dracos is living in Candyland. Trying to come over and pay me in loonies and toonies.
Bro.
Okay, I see you, Dracos.
All right, man. Well, we see Alphari on the top side in Peppermint Lane here. Stepping for no. I'm following you down the rabbit hole, Icon. Still poking Jensen, of course, with resolve. Secondary relatively tanky. He's trying to weather the storm. Alphari waiting. Cannot just ult the Fiora because she has riposte. Awkward situation for the Gnar, certainly.
Yeah. He's making use of the early lane phase there for Gnar, though, before Fiora starts to get items and starts to get to the scary end game fantasy of the champion. Farming going quite smoothly there, though, for especially for LNG. You know, the bottom side, as kind of expected from the leashing, from having to deal with early Aphelios domination, is sustaining a fairly heavy deficit, actually. This is not what I would normally expect from it, but not getting a lane early has big repercussions for Ezreal lanes.
No. And while certainly the Aphelios Thresh lane is favored, at least in the purely laning 2v2, it has also limited Corejj greatly in his ability to roam. We'll see now with this recall if he's going to start running towards mid, running towards top lane. It is a bit of a risk, though, because if Aphelios and Thresh just walk right back into lane, you could be looking at tower plates going down. As long as he has the white gun, he eats tower plates for breakfast, so you do always have to be a little bit careful.
Well, well, well. He's not hovering towards top side at all, so it looks like it's going to be a fairly effortless dragon pickup for LNG, as you know, it's a hover for a possible counter gank up there. Maybe communication between Alphari and Santorin on that pushing wave. The wave was in a little bit of a tenuous spot and could have been an opportunity for a strike up there, so hovering for the possible aggressive play. Definitely a cover there by Santorin. Costs you an early dragon in the favor of LNG and makes you a little bit worried about the progression here.
Yep. Of course, LNG do know the red respawn time, so can't imagine that they will overcommit into this push, as once Santorin completes that, he'll be a little bit more threatening towards the bottom side. For now, they're keeping the pressure up, but of course, with this particular gun combo, very high risk to engage on the Aphelios. A lot of sustain, a lot of damage output. That said, Santorin 6, maybe just maybe they can find an opportunity here.
Yeah, quite interesting, because we've seen the trend of, you know, solo queue, a lot of talents take Ignite, because they want to start their kills early and snowball, and there's a lot more opportunity for ganks and fighting and stuff in solo queue, so it makes actually a lot more sense there. But for pro play, you know, seeing a lot more of the flashes, a lot more of the teleports come in does reduce your burst damage opportunity for some of these early conversions, where you would want to snowball and get that first blood. If you go bottom lane, though, Corejj has his own, and he's not a Leona that makes the mistake of stunning and immediately igniting too, and getting both taken off with Cleanse. When you're facing Cleanse, of course, on the Aphelios, you always try and, you know, snare him first, stun him first, try and get the Cleanse out that way, then ignite afterwards, so you get the full damage, full duration of it. And even with those, though, don't want to mess with the red-white guns.
Yeah, can't take those risks, and of course, Ezreal going tier as well. The Sheen's a nice little bit of burst, but the all-in damage is just going to favor the Aphelios, even when Thresh maybe doesn't bring as much immediately to the table in terms of burst. That said, gold about dead even, and lane's kind of going as expected. Now, admittedly, the CS deficit on the bottom lane a little bit bigger than maybe you would think on paper, but top lane very much in favor of the Gnar for now. You talked about it, the power fantasy for Fiora, 1-2 items when she's really going to start to take over that lane. But overall, pretty quiet early. We haven't had a kill yet at 9 minutes between TL and LNG. I'm very caught off guard. This is, I was expecting a lot more blood. And we did say in Pick Fan, things might get a little bit easier if we get past some of these early levels, if nobody snowballs. But right now, I'm not feeling quite as confident in that statement, because I just think it's so hard for TL to set up with a gold card in the mid lane. It feels like Santorin's just behind in the jungle, and there's so much vision from LNG.
Yeah, I don't know really about behind. I guess a little. You know,
Envision.
Because he had to hand off this blue buff there. Tarzan is currently level 7, but Santorin very close to level 7. And he will accordingly hand his blue off as well. I think one of the biggest things is the pressure on bottom side means so much. With Tactical and Corejj being pinned under tower, it reduces a lot of the move opportunities there, because if you don't have your Leona be able to roam with your Talon, then your kill pressure, especially since he doesn't have Ignite either, is significantly reduced, and Ale has not given them the opportunities on the top side quite yet. Here is first main roam from Corejj upon getting level 6, getting access to that ultimate. The big other thing too is that Icon hasn't really presented a lot of opportunities for Jensen, and has kind of been able to keep the Twisted Fate, even though he's had access to ultimate for a significant period here from making any sort of side lane push.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's a lot of similarities to the game that we saw yesterday. Difference, of course, Jensen's playing the other side of the TF LeBlanc matchup. In the bottom lane, Tactical, rather than being left on an island with light to just farm it out like he was against Corejj, Iwandy consistently heading back to the bot lane for the most part.
They're sending everybody,
to keep that pressure.
We've been waiting, Dracos. There is a party at Rift Herald, I heard. 10 people need to show up.
Everybody's invited. It would be rude to decline TL. Tactical on the way. He didn't forget his invite.
That's leashing out.
Okay, the reset's there. Alphari laying down a little bit of poke, wants to stack the Rage, but needs to attack it at the right time.
Tactical is fashionably late to this party. So fashionably late that they release it, and he's going to be able to push out the mid wave first. Icon does recall, but he's got teleport. I don't see any deep wards for him, though.
Nope. Someone has to go back and get the drinks for the party. Not everybody brought their own beverage.
Icon's making the beer run, okay.
How long can we stretch this metaphor? It's a good question, but we won't have to any longer. TL, they were lonely at the party. They thought their friends were going to come, but LNG were not interested. It wasn't their kind of scene.
Dude, that was the most boring gamer party ever, bro. Literally nothing went down.
Yeah. Everybody brought their PCs, then it's like, guys, the internet's down.
Yeah.
Spectrum, like, oh, all right, move on.
Bad ratio, bad conversation. There's not even any games set up.
Yeah.
Everyone's just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Guess what? Nude party dragon, 10 seconds. What do you think, Daniel?
I'm not convinced, but as you highlighted, LNG total control of the bot side. I think this is their party. They're the ones sending the invites. Corejj, he's down to go. Tactical gonna have to wait a little bit. He's got some homework to finish on the bottom side, and Corejj, as he committed a little bit too soon, he's getting burned down so fast. Good Ezreal to land back a bit of poke. Jensen now stepping forward. Gold card on Iwandy would be big. He's got Guardian, not the Aftershock. Very squishy Thresh, but Icon on the backside could be a problem. LNG, good hosts to this party, may get the prize of the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, they declined invite on top side, but pretty big cooldown wins here on the bottom side with early chunk and health bar into Corejj, burning Corejj's flash, plus the ultimate and ghost out of Jensen. Significant.
Santorin locked up, goes Shadow Assault, tries to make it out, leaps over the wall, but Icon still following. Santorin gonna get burned down for first blood.
That is just hats off, slow clap for Icon. He knows it's critical. You have to instantly get your chain onto Talon. If your chain is on him, you can reveal him in the ult. Also, he's going to have to flash wall jump to try and break it. Doesn't get the distance in it. So Icon follows up with the chain there. That is priority number one. That secures the pick. That is him also getting paid and allowing bottom side to continue their mining of gold off this turret.
These leads are getting bigger and bigger. I mean, look at Jensen in mid lane. He's down 30 CS. Bot lane is a similar story, and Alphari's lead is staying the same or even starting to shrink as Fiora gets stronger and stronger. It's so hard because in any matchup, except for this one, Meganor feels so great. You just get to jump in. You go from being obnoxious ranged pokeboy to like giant melee guy with some of the most ludicrous base stats in the game. But as long as Riposte is up, he can't use two of his primary abilities. They're so telegraphed. They're so easy to just immediately get the stun back.
Fiora can literally block a house being thrown at her. Dash.
Parry. One skinny throws like Big Ben. It's like, aha, but my sword.
I mean, practically you'd rather use it on the big stun, but you know. Thematically, the house makes it a lot cooler sounding. Santorin takes away the red in payment, but LNG will take that trade every single day of the week. And guess what? All of these scary scenarios we set up in draft where LNG have access to so much snowballing, so much carry potential from the top side of the map are coming true. Icon, you know, yes, he got demolished by BDD, but he's absolutely set up for extreme success in this game with massive CS lead on top of the kill. Ludens is finished for him. Definitely going to be that huge threat, and Team Liquid don't have a lot of surprise factors for this game. You know, Twisted Fate can try and make the play for them, but it's been avoided so successfully already. For LNG, we only saw the one kind of half effort, you know, collapse on bottom, which was actually just trying to protect Corejj, and aside from that, no proactive use here from the, you know, the combination you want to see is the Talon, Twisted Fate, and Leona, but they've been on the defensive foot this entire time.
Trying to leap over, maybe trying to cancel the Heck Flash there. Icon coming over the wall, Tactical stepping forward, but the chains have already connected onto Corejj. It feels like they're fortunate in this fight, but that's big damage coming across from the Ezreal. Corejj not strong enough. Leap forward coming in from Tarzan, trying to keep this one going as he turns to Leona. Jensen's here, but again, defensive. Is going to find the reset. Oh, just keeps it going with the Ezreal, but they're not going to overcommit to this one. 3 kills now to the side of LNG.
Yeah, that's looking pretty disastrous for Team Liquid. Who's gonna poke and prod them awake here, because it is looking like LNG are going to just snowball this into full map control. They're even set up for dragon stacking. They've got plenty of side lane potential for split push later. Icon getting another one here as they pick off the bottom lane that were so deep trying to get vision. Look at that look at the wards that they got. They're so deep behind the lane, possibly setting up for some teleport play. You look on the minimap right now, it's up between the two towers there. And yet on the escape path here in the Axe Effect replay, you see the collapse, good return damage, but Icon finishes it off. No threat of the follow-up there, so chunk doesn't matter, and it's Viego reset from Tarzan, ults through, even with Jensen trying to come protect tactical, can't stop him. Unstoppable ult, picks up the extra one.
Tactical locked up, immediate burst damage now coming in, big damage from Light, can't quite finish the kill. But this is something you have to be scared of, is that your team is very squishy, and he is for sure going the collector build. So if you are not careful, obviously there's a lot of champions that can threaten the Aphelios, but Ezreal gonna struggle if he gets too much further ahead.
Oh, they're gonna struggle, all right. This is a punching bag game for Team Liquid. Alphari, speaking of which,
finally gets to ult to Fiora, but it might cost him his life. Spectral now coming in, locked up, stunned. Immediately the parry comes out, it gets turned against him, and just like that, the reset coming in. Santorin, he wants to fire back, but Light, the perfect guns to kite away, will not go down.
okie dokie. You get your kill on your top laner there as well. LNG free. Free to push and pick up.
The more tired you become, the more southern you become. Okie dokie, fight kicking off in the mid lane. Iwandy going forward, will not go down. Light finding that one, resets coming in.
Damn, Daniel.
It just happens. Tarzan, yeah, popping off. This game looking rough for TL. It was confidence, it was control yesterday, but LNG slowly but surely dismantling them in this early game.
Yes, sir. Bottom side tower is picked up for Team Liquid, so we are not getting perfect gamed, sir. I will have you know.
Yeah.
Nobody perfect games.
Even this cloud has a silver lining. Okay, I guess we'll do the classic cash move. Let's do the check-in. It's a 5K gold difference. There are 2 Drakes on the side of LNG, and almost every single member is stronger than their respective player.
You gotta start counting now.
That's unfair, I know. Tactical.
Oh!
Oh, dodged!
Auto
okay,
him
not
to
quite
death.
enough.
Hey, we get one. We're on the board.
Baby. Kill on the board. Ollie running, flash over the wall. He's still alive for now. He's gonna try to go in. Blast cone backwards. Does he have the riposte? No, but he does have the lantern. He clicks on it. He makes it. Oh no! Oh, it hurts. It's funny, but it hurts.
Ah, Diza. They can't even get the Fiora.
Yeah.
Beautiful flash there from Iwandy. You know, he gets in range for the lantern there on the outside. Ale also using the riposte timing perfectly.
Oh.
Flash of his own. Now they've got to get out of there for Team Liquid. They slap their hand away. LNG say, you are not allowed near the dragons.
No kills for you, young man. It's past your bedtime. Santorin going in. He's trying to leap. He's trying to dash, dip, duck, dodge. But, yeah, that's...
Run.
Whoa. Let's go.
Run, little Talon. Parkour over.
Oh.
Takes 2.
Oh.
How deep can he go? Oh, it doesn't get the blast cone.
All right. Parkour. Free running expert Santorin.
I wanted Krugs anyway.
Nice chase, nerd. Set me up exactly
Wait,
for my
he didn't
next
stay
move.
for the Krugs either. He didn't even stay. He's out of there.
Oh no, and Shelly goes away too. We started it, but they couldn't finish it.
Yeah, she despawns. Baron's about to come, so they still got another tower, baby. Turret destruction.
Further and further away from that perfect game you were looking for, LNG. I'm sure that was your plan going into this, so. TL.
Suckers.
We have to make fun of it because, again, it's a 6K gold deficit. There's 3 dragons, and the scaling discussion is very difficult because that's an Aphelios and a Fiora on the opposite side. So,
yeah.
TL.
I mean, so to go over the windows that you can try and use is, and we saw a little bit of the attempt for a set there from Team Liquid. You know, put some deep wards for possible teleport from Alphari, but also they needed to get, as we were talking about for Champ Select, some priority for Jensen to try, you know, maybe gank mid first to allow him to use his teleport. So he can use the Twisted Fate ultimate to start to get some snowball, but you know, going back to, you know, Ezreal lane pulling. So their bottom lane is just turbo pushed in, can't get any support roams, can't get any mid roams, can't get any playmaking done for themselves. And when you're facing so many strong scaling champions here, it's going to get really scary. If you can't use some of those globals or create some action with your roaming from your Leona, and that's just been the case here. So hats off to LNG for well-played early game. You saw them at no point with any sort of concern about the variations that are popping up here. Especially credit to Icon, you know, got demolished yesterday by BDD. Yeah, he had the early pick, and he early picked the Silas. Just so happens BDD is one of the best Zoe players, and it's a great pick into it. And got solo killed a bunch, but making it way more important this time around with the LeBlanc play. 4 kills to his name, plenty of burst damage, and plenty of map to work with. LeBlanc dream is all these pockets of fog of war, hoping to chunk people out as they come to face check.
Certainly is. Set up to do so. TL, maybe they can hope for something. Of course, Alphari holding on to a bit of a CS lead in his individual matchup, balanced out most likely by the assist that Ale has. But those are little dubs, and those ones you gotta look out for. Downside is, Gnar is not Camille or Malphite or anything like that, so he's very hard. He has a very low floor in terms of his guaranteed output. Very high ceiling.
You named 2 very different champions there. I was like, what?
Well, but I mean, like Camille, you like hookshot, wall dive.
Okay.
Like you're like, that's an engage. You got your ulti, that's an engage. You got Malphite, you push R when you want to fight, that's an engage. Gnar, it's like you can push R sometimes if they're grouped up, if your rage is stacked, if you're in the area. Like there's a lot of ifs.
I see. Too many variables here on this one. Yeah. Confounding factors.
Sure, yes.
We call them in our scientific experiments that we like to create. The next experiment I will propose, how did Team Liquid come up with their first kill? Now, it does seem like there's a low chance of that happening upon first review. However, if you consider the strategy we came up with previously in the day.
Yes.
Everybody look at the support. There's tiny cooldown left on the flash. Maybe you can catch Iwandy. He does have a tendency to look for some hook plays, and you self-root when you throw out the death sentence there. So again, manageable goals here. Try and nab something there.
CEO grind set. Baby steps, folks.
Keep your mind focused.
You know what I mean?
Okay, let's see.
Everyone should buy a support item. Passive income. That's what it's about.
Invest early. Invest early. Definitely. You know, it's much better to hold resources than it is to hold cash. Especially inflation's becoming a real issue.
A lot of you guys are
assets, people, assets.
You got to think about these things. A lot of you would say that 600 gold shutdown on LeBlanc is really important. I'd say you're not thinking enough about passive income. Support item. Riddle me that.
Actually, I want to reach for the stars. We're killing that LeBlanc.
Well, no
Jensen.
CC for the Fiora. Joke's on you, Ale. He's making it out of this one.
Laughing his way to the bank.
Well, he doesn't have any money for the bank, but he's
at the bank.
But he's at the bank. The song doesn't specify what they do. They're just laughing to the bank. So he's chilling.
All right, LNG. Really got to refocus on how they, actually we kind of cursed them, didn't we, in the last game? And we're like, oh, it's the 1-1-1 group. Well,
might be the 1-1-1 group.
It kind of looks that way. LNG, though, they have so many options for controlling how they finish out this game because they drafted such strong split push and the money's in the right place for that split push. Fiora's on her 2-item power spike, Daniel. The fantasy, the dream, it's a reality here. So Ale can free push as well as Icon, and he can easily threaten on these objectives. Twist of Fate ultimate used for vision. Ezreal ult used the same.
Miracle Steel, Santorin from the darkness.
Dream fight could still happen.
Free running expert. Harder when there's a lot of chakrams on light, but he's
let me have this.
All right, here you go. All right, lots of initial poke damage.
Ow.
Flash away. Icon off to the side. Alphari rage stacking. Can he get it? Hop, skip, jump, throw him into the wall, turn around, find the first kill. That's what it is. Small goals, baby steps, baby.
Loop-de-loop, alley-oop. Okay, Tarzan's on the other side.
Gold
There's
card.
no Twisted Fate ultimate to reveal him anymore for actual combat, though.
All right. Again, Hope just coming in here. Icon goes to the wall trying to blow up Santorin, but there's an exhaust immediately trying to lock down LeBlanc. She goes right back over the wall. Hook onto Corejj. No follow-up. LNG taking their sweet time on this one.
Actually, a pretty good flash cooldown there.
Over the wall, free running, still alive. Tarzan, is he overcommitted? Can they burn him down? Well, is that going to be their first kill of the game? Yes, it is. TL, that's one on the board. Alphari, he's raging out. He's ready. Maybe they can turn an Icon over the flank. He's surely going to kill Santorin, but they've denied the soul for now. A brief glimmer of hope. The silver lining on this cloud getting a little brighter every second. Alphari going in.
They're awake.
This is going to be it. Santorin in the midst of it. He gets the Gold Ringer down. Icon ready to come over in a moment's notice. Tactical flashing out to safety, but they're still cutting him down. Alphari's going to go, and he's going to turn mini in a second. It's something for TL. Yes, they still lose the exchange in the end, but they buy a bit more time. But it does cost them everyone's life but Jensen's. And it's a draw.
They're awake, but they're also back in the fountain. LNG, as soon as they get the teleport back from Icon, you know, Icon, the initial investment, Icon burning the flash there, thought it was actually going to be pretty decent for Team Liquid, but he just teleports back to the fight. Beautiful collapse there from LNG, and they're right at the Nexus turrets.
Icon stepping in. It's not quite the end of the game.
He's just an Icon living with a 5-kill spree here, 700 gold.
Dang. This is, you know what? TL got 2 kills, a dragon, and they've got 2 towers. So LNG are getting further away from the perfect game, and that's what matters.
Man, that's an old story, okay? We've dealt with the perfect game already, all right?
We've gone Candyland, we've gone parties, we've gone Southern. A lot has happened in this 27 minutes. But
look at this. The moment of glory is about to pass. So they think they have the good follow-up here, and they do have wards into the wall, so Alphari gets the good combo. Tactical, though, goes down towards light as Icon is coming to pincer him, so there's no safety for him. And again, Ezreal is the heart of the carry of the damage for this team. Since Ale is level 16 now, you know, the Fiora can't be dealt with. Little bit of split there from Team Liquid on the follow over the wall for the focus fire. The positioning was great for the investment of a Gnar ultimate, but they don't have the follow-up and the safety of the carries to actually cleanly damage follow it up.
Tactical just got one shot by Icon. 4 members standing of TL. They run into this pinch, they could be in trouble. That hook lands onto Jensen. Light has the perfect guns to murder everybody. There's also a Fed Fiora and a Fed LeBlanc. TL are gonna get obliterated here. They might get 1 kill, but they might not. Alphari running for the hills.
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
If I list every possibility, I'm never wrong. Alphari could escape, but it does seem a little bit unlikely. Tarzan gonna go in, Alphari going mega, the hook going to land.
I've seen him win these.
Is there.
Not this time.
I don't think you have seen him win those, so I'm gonna...
You don't know me! LNG are inside the base, baby! Icon redemption game! Deathless this time around versus Team Liquid, and LNG stomp their way to 1-1.
1-1 across the board. LNG masterclass from start to finish.
Well, well, well.
You know what? They might not have got the dub, but they got the 1. It's 1s across the board. They're setting up for a hype group. And a huge turnaround from LNG from yesterday. Really stepping it up. And for TL, sadly, also a turnaround. Really lost control of that early game. The Talon not nearly as impactful. The TF side of the TF LeBlanc matchup, really they didn't get anything out of that they wanted.